fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and we're back in Strasbourg, France. And today, we've got the 10 things that shock tourists when they come here to Strasbourg. And I gotta tell you, the first thing is really kind of shock you when you're coming here to Strasbourg is how it feels so French, but looks so German. Well, what you have to realize is actually this city has gone back and forth, and the Alsace region has gone back and forth between France and Germany for quite some time, and so you definitely have a lot of German influence when you're here. So if you're thinking of having your total French vacation, well, you'll have a French vacation, but it'll definitely be a regional Alsace French vacation with a hint of that Germanicness in it. But this city is amazing, from the architecture to the food to everything, but you can't escape that French-German Mischung mix-up of things when you're here, all right? And probably the second thing that's going to shock you that relates directly to that is the local cuisine isn't your typical French fare. No, you are not going to have your frog legs, and you are not going to have your, confit de canard. Now, you have some great duck, but, you're going to have some different foods when you're here. Because of that Germanic influence and everything, I mean, you have choucroute, which is, how would I say this? It's sauerkraut. It's really good sauerkraut with a bunch of meats with it. A sausage and some ham, maybe some pork belly, a shoulder. Oh my God, the shoulder here, the pork shoulder. Oh, it's so good. Like, you have the heavy Germanic food here in Strasbourg. Well, I should say, it's not Germanic food, it's the Alsatian food that's here. I mean, it has got a lot of pack to your tum-tum, if you know what I mean. Like backofen, which is, a bunch of lamb and beef and pork together with potatoes. Yes, you're going to eat really, really well when you are here. And they actually have their own kind of pizza here. It's not a pizza, it just looks like it when you see it. The top flambé, or the Flammekuchen, which is a really thin pizza dough kind of stuff. And then instead of marinara sauce, it's like a creamy cheese is spread over it. And then they put, maybe you get some ham on there or some onions. I like the mushrooms on there, but so good. But you have such great food when you're here. The Kugelhopf, the cake that's here, it's more like a bready kind of thing, but it looks like a cake. You'll see it in all the bakeries around town. You have this really, really great food scene here that's completely different than the rest of France. So take advantage of that and try some new stuff when you're here. Now, the next thing that's going to surprise you when you come here is actually the prettiest part of being here, and that's going to Petite France. This is the area where it has all the half-timbered houses. I mean, it's one of those things that when they show France postcards, I mean, you've got, Mont Saint-Michel, you've got the Eiffel Tower, and then you've got Petite France. It is just gorgeous walking around there. Tons of restaurants, tons of bars, tons of places just to sit out and take in the beauty of the area. And when you walk around there, you understand why Strasbourg is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, like the city itself. Because yes, you have the fantastic Notre Cathedral, but Petite France, so much great stuff here. I mean, it is just a beautiful, beautiful city, okay? And when you walk around here and you just take it all in, you understand from the pedestrian streets going around to going on the river and sitting with the locals on the weekend and having a drink with them, or taking the boat ride around to see the great architecture. I mean, it's just fantastic, and you really are like, yes, this is what UNESCO meant when they wanted to make World Heritage Sites whole cities. Strasbourg is the definition of that when you're here. And that goes into something really is going to make you love Alsace, the whole region, but here in Strasbourg as well. And that's the next thing that's going to shock you, is just the pride the locals have in their region and in their city. And you see that, how the city's cleaned up, how the museums are put together, how the people want to make sure that you have real Alsatian food. I mean, when you go to the restaurants here, they're mostly Alsatian, okay? There's international ones, but it's not the French cuisine you think of. It's the Alsatian cuisine, and they're going to let you know that you need to have the Alsatian wine when you're here. The Rieslings, I mean, Grand Cru is my favorite. I mean, there's just so many great wines that are here that you can have, and they want to make sure you have that, right? My friends that live here, the first time I came, they're like, no, you have to have a picon first. That's how we drink our beer, which is a beer with a little bit of picon liqueur in it. It makes it like a sweet kind of caramely beer. It's really good, but the people are just so excited, and that pride really shows if you go to places like the Alsatian Museum, or you go to the City History Museum of Strasbourg, or the other museums around town. You really get a great understanding of the area and the people and their pride, and you really see it. I mean, I get excited for it. I mean, my family's from here. Like, I went to one of the churches here, where my family went 200 years ago, and it's like, I'm still proud of this place too, because it's just so gorgeous, and the people are friendly and nice. It just makes a really great surprise when you're coming here. Now, for my technology lovers, and for the people wondering why there's this beautiful church behind me, the next thing that's going to shock you when you come here is the Notre Cathedral. And yes, you might be shocked that you can actually climb up the left side over here and go up there. Yeah, you can go up and have a nice view, and you might be surprised how out of shape you actually are compared to what you thought you were. Just saying, but actually inside is gorgeous. The stained glass windows are fantastic. You'll be impressed by that. But the thing that'll get you the most is if you go and watch the astronomical clock that's inside. It goes off every day at 12:30, okay? Now you can go into the cathedral anytime, like in the morning and the afternoon, but they close it in the middle of the day because people get tickets to go in, and they have like an audio-visual presentation, which is really interesting. You're like, how the heck did they figure out all these things with the ellipse of the earth and all this kind of stuff? I mean, it's really, really cool. But you see it go and you start to appreciate like what kind of technological know-how they had all those years ago, and it's really cool. Now, if you just want to see it and not see it working, you can see it anytime you go to the cathedral. It's no big deal, but this cathedral is gorgeous. And what I want you to do, walk up in the front and look at the facade, look at the faces, look at the artwork, the sculptures that are on there. It is just gorgeous. And you also might be shocked about the line to get in, so maybe pick up your tickets earlier in the day instead of waiting in line, because it opens up at 11:30 for people to walk through to get ready for the 12:30 showing. So you don't need the whole hour beforehand. If you already have the ticket, you'll be fine. The Strasbourg Pass can help you out in that way. Now, another thing that might shock you is when you have to jump out of the way because of all the bikes in this city. There's 500 kilometers of bike paths here in Strasbourg, but you'd swear that the people are actually just riding on the pedestrian zone all the time. So do have a head on a swivel sometime, because you'll be walking the pedestrian street and a bike delivery driver will go by, or a grandma will go by, going by, or a kid will go by. Just you'll be shocked that you might get taken out by a bike, not where you think you will, in a bike path, but randomly in the pedestrian zone. So just be aware of that one. Also, you can do bike tours around here too, so you got lots of options with the bikes, but yeah, just be ready that someone might go ding ding behind you, and don't jump, just stay where you are because they're coming. And another thing that might get you when you're here, another thing that's kind of shocking, is just how many school groups and tour groups come through Strasbourg. I mean, this city is world famous. I mean, UNESCO World Heritage Site, but it is morning, noon, and night. You usually have, we got morning now, usually have tourists coming through in tour groups. And so you'll have with the little signs walking in by, and they'll knock you out of the way to make sure they get their stuff, and they'll block some entrances to some cafes while they get their things. But it's just like all the time they have groups that are here. And it's not just old tourists and coming through, it's young tourists. School groups crowd this place. This square on a normal school day, it's got kids everywhere having their lunches, or the school groups here. This is where they have their picnics and stuff. I mean, everywhere you go, there's going to be some school groups when you're here. And that's kind of funny, because when you start seeing how busy it gets with the school groups, you don't realize that the next thing that shock you is just how much more packed this place gets on the weekend. I mean, you go Tuesday night, Wednesday night here in town, you can go and basically walk into some of the nice restaurants and get a seat, no problem. On a weekend, this place gets packed with tourists coming from Paris, coming from Germany, coming from Switzerland, coming from all over the world. And it just goes from like nice, calm, see how calm and nice this is? So easy to get around, no worries, to, oh my God, where did all these people come from? And it's funny because it's like about 4 o'clock on Friday, boom, they start showing up. And then Saturday is completely packed. And then Sunday's a little bit better because people are heading home, the shops aren't open, so there's not as much draw here. But I mean, wow, the shock you have for just the like tidal wave of tourists that come on the weekends. Also, if you're going to be here at Christmas time, and I'm going to talk about that later, that's another thing you got to realize is with all this tourist overrunningness and the popular times, you need to get your accommodation as soon as possible, because that overrun of people also deals with the university here, the European Parliament that's here. So whenever there's one of those sessions going, or the students are coming in or leaving for the semester, all the hotels get filled up. So you gotta book ahead, okay? So be ready for that, and you might pay a pretty penny to stay, but it's worth staying in the center just because it's so gorgeous. And of course, make those reservations on the weekends for restaurants any time of the year, but also during Christmas time, because this is the Christmas capital of France. You really should make a reservation for dinner pretty much every night, just in case, or just wander around all the markets that are here, just eat on the street. You'll be fine with that too. I mean, it's fantastic here at Christmas, and I think that's another shocking thing I have for people, is just how Christmassy Strasbourg gets at Christmas. Like, the entire city is done up. The lights, the market stalls, the vin chaud, the hot wine, the foods. Oh my God. The Christmas foods they have that are here, you don't get other times of the year. Can you tell me I'm getting excited? It's Christmas and French food together. It's like perfect. So you're going to have that. So if you can come during Christmas time, think all this weekends of Advent to Christmas, you know, you're gonna have it here, and you're gonna enjoy it when you're here. And the whole country knows this, so that's why they all come here. So it's got over the top Christmassiness anytime. So if you can come, come. But I recommend, if you want to come and enjoy it and not be as crowded, come during the week, the first couple weeks of Advent, like first couple weeks of December. That's going to be the easiest time to enjoy it, but anytime you can come at Christmas, it's wonderful. And then last thing I want to talk about is actually a shock of just how many great day trips you have from here in Strasbourg. I mean, Strasbourg can make a great base for you to go to a lot of places and multiple countries. If you want to go over to Freiburg and see the Beckle, you know, the little, like, I guess you'd say little creeks on the side of the road, and go see the Münster there, and go take in the city, and go to the Schlossberg and hike in the Black Forest. You just take a train from here to Offenburg, and then you switch. It's like it's like a 10-minute wait, and then you go down to Freiburg. Hour and 10 minutes, fantastic day trip to do, or you can stay longer. That's wonderful. Basel, yeah, you can get down to Switzerland. It's a little bit farther to get to there. Oh, if you want to go to the wine route, the Route de Vin, yeah, the Route de Vin d'Alsace, is you can go from here to go see all those wine regions and do the vineyard tours. That's really great. I mean, heck, you can just go a half hour, literally. Local train, 30 minutes away, you go to Colmar, which is like a miniature version of Strasbourg, which is really, really beautiful. And actually, if you spend the night in Colmar, it's pretty empty there in the evening, because most people do day trips when you're there, and it's just gorgeous. But there's so many other things you can do right by here that you're really going to enjoy, and make it a surprisingly wonderful base for you. Not just a 2-day stopover, but you could stay a week and go do all these other things and enjoy yourself. So I hope you enjoyed these fun little shocking things about coming to Strasbourg. We love coming here. So if you want to have a little bit more tourist solid information kind of video on Strasbourg as well, we have a video, the don'ts of visiting Strasbourg, that can help out and give you more of the, like, you know, nitty gritty do's and don'ts kind of stuff when you're here. Also, if you go to our Wolters World Eats channel, we have what to eat when you come here to Strasbourg as well. So I hope that can help you enjoy your time here in Alsace, and especially here in Strasbourg, because it is a fantastic city. UNESCO heritage and all. Bye from Strasbourg.